going a new direction with my Toyota Tacoma. Here's what I'm going for now. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? And that's right, I am going a new direction with my Toyota Tacoma. My plans have changed, and I think it might be due to one of my most recent mods, actually, and that is the sport bar that I put on the back. You know, that kind of changed my whole outlook a little bit. It was that profound of a change for me, right? Now, if you're new to the channel or you don't know, I had a bed rack on there before. And of course, the idea of a bed rack is to put a tent on, right? It's more of an overlanding kind of thing. And to be honest, way back when I first got this truck, you know, I kind of planned on setting it up as a kind of an overlanding truck, right? But I don't think I fully understood what that really meant, you know? Now, at least the way I understand it, for me, my own interpretation, an overlanding truck is really a truck that's meant to go overlanding, to go camping, you know, get out remote somewhere, spend some time out there with nature, sleep overnight in your bed tent, you know, all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, that's just not me. It's not who I am. It's not what I'm interested in doing. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, overlanding right now is huge. There are tons and tons of people interested in it. I'm just not one, at least not fully. So what do I mean by that? Well, I've decided I'm kind of going to go for a hybrid kind of setup. Different components of different areas, right? A little bit of overlanding stuff like the lift, you know, so I can clear more stuff, at least with water as far as coming into the cab, for example. A bug out vehicle, which I'd mentioned before, something that you can just jump in and go, right? As far as that goes, more about the kind of stuff that you have in the truck, right? I've got a few things like that now, you know, some tools. I've got an air compressor, you know, for if you had to have air. It'd be a big problem if you lost air in your tires somewhere and you were trying to get away, right? So I'm self-sufficient as far as that goes. The biggest thing, the most recent, and that is more towards a sport kind of truck, you know, which is really more what I am, I think. You know, for years and years, I've loved sports cars, you know, fast cars, little cars, the Honda Civic. Probably my favorite car out there, the little Honda Civic, you know, because it's quick, in a manual transmission, of course. Oh, and that's the other thing. I have a manual transmission in this Tacoma. Now, I would say that's probably more along the lines of a sport truck because you can go through the gears, it's fun to drive, than an overland truck anymore. You know, when you're going somewhere and you need to get through places and stuff, you don't really want to be going through the gears, right? I think the automatic transmission is much better equipped for that kind of use or that kind of an environment. So having a sport truck with a manual transmission really does line up well. And I think it kind of marries the two together, right? And I know the manual transmission is going away, but hopefully it'll survive a few more years, you know? So what's my definition of a sport truck then, I guess? Well, let's talk about aesthetics first, because aesthetics are the easiest, right? I mean, I've put the sport bar on the back. It is called a sport bar, right? To kind of make it a little bit sportier looking, you know? And I think it accomplishes that. I think it looks pretty darn cool on the truck. Different wheels. You know, you really don't need to go beyond the stock wheels if you're only going for an overland look, right? I mean, any wheel will do. It doesn't really matter. And why would you want to put expensive wheels on, particularly of the painted variety, that you're going to take out and scratch up, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So you would stick with stock. I've got aftermarket wheels. The tires, that kind of goes both ways, you know. I've got bigger, more aggressive tires on this truck. They look sporty, I think, but they also accomplish an overland goal, right? You're able to go more places easier, I think, with a meatier, more aggressive tire. And I have that. The LED light on the front. Kind of a split there as well. You know, if you're out in the middle of somewhere, or nowhere, I should say, and it's dark and you want to see, you want as much light beaming off the front of your truck as possible, right? But it also looks cool in there. It makes the truck look, I think, a little bit sportier. The color of this truck itself. I mean, if you're a true overlander, you kind of want to be hidden a little bit, don't you? Wouldn't you be more prone to get a truck that's more earthy? Not some bright beaming voodoo blue like I have, right? So I guess a sport truck to me it's more showy. It has more aesthetic features on it, more additions for looks, I guess, than functionality. I mean, let's face it, the sport bar I put on the back doesn't really have any function other than, I mean, you could argue that it would hold lights. I mean, you could put lights up on top of it that could shine out over the front that would serve more of an overlanding feature, I suppose. But other than that, it's not going to support the truck if it rolls. It's not a roll bar. Some people call them beauty bars. That's certainly along the lines of a sport truck, isn't it? It'd be beautiful. So it's not really very functional. The side steps that I have are really more for appearance. They do, of course, have a function. They make it easier to get in and out of the truck. But if you're out overlanding somewhere and you're driving through the brush, you certainly don't want something hanging off and down out of your truck to grab stuff, right? You don't want anything to hold you back. So that's really more of a sporty look as well, more aesthetic in nature than function. Although, like I said, that does have a function. If you step inside my truck, you know, I have the custom center console lid. That's all about aesthetics. It doesn't serve any function, but man, does it look cool. I have the candy blue shift knob. Again, there's no real functional use there. I mean, I could have stuck with the original shift knob and still be able to go through the gears, but it looks cool. How about the letters? Something as trivial as the letters I put in the glove box that say Tacoma in voodoo blue. That doesn't serve any function. I mean, if you're out, you know, traipsing through the woods, it doesn't really matter if your glove box has letters on it in voodoo blue, does it? So things like that, I think, just more of an eye-catching, aesthetically edgy kind of a look, and that's what I'm going for. It's what I did with the blue, or the black rather, mirror covers that I put on. You know, there's no function there. It's just aesthetics, and I think it just gives the truck a little bit more of a sporty look, if you will. So that's kind of the direction that I'm going to go now. I think, again, kind of a hybrid. I'm not saying that I'm running away from the overland point of view or even the bug out view for sure. I still want to incorporate those things in the truck, but I want them to kind of satisfy a sporty need at the same time. So I guess the perfect marriage would be a functional, useful mod that is also good looking on the truck. How's that? And one more thing I wanted to mention that I'm going to start pursuing here soon, I think, and that is a tune for the truck, because a sporty truck needs to be as quick as the truck can be, I think, right? And that's a big thing for me. I like fast vehicles, or at least for them to have the ability to be fast. So I think for me, it's probably going to mean some sort of a tune down the road. That's the direction I'm looking at, I think. So we'll be doing that too. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Are you more of an overlander? Are you more of a sporty driver? Or do you just not care? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, check out my other channel. It is RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Also, I have a third channel now. It's called RobMotive Civic, and you might have guessed it's all about the previous Honda Civics I've had, both the Sport, hatchback of course, and the Civic Type R. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.